Welcome to In Pursuit of Truth. This is your host, Sir Patrick Mack. Hey, boys and girls, we're getting the band back together. That's right. You, me, Q, John on the ones and twos.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be super dope. And of course, if you're into Q, you're feeling like this. And of course, if you're not, you're feeling like this.
You're awake, by the way. You're not having a terrible, terrible dream.
No nightmares here, Flapjack. I'm sleeping like a baby. How many Q posts we got here, John?
4.
Yes, sir. Let's start here with 2382. 44 minutes after the hour of 7 p.m. on November 1st. Do not let them divide you. Together you are strong. Together you win. Your vote matters. Reread drops regarding polls, and it gives us these two links right here. The first one takes you here to the United States Office of Government Ethics. We're talking about the Hatch Act. The Hatch Act 5 USC 7321-7326 limits certain political activities of most executive branch employees. For example, the law prohibits employees from engaging in political activity while on duty or in the federal workplace. It also prohibits them from soliciting or receiving political contributions. Okay, I think a lot of you are probably familiar with the Hatch Act. And I think Q is basically stating that this is why we have not heard from Q. It's been about 23 days since we last saw a Q post, and this is exactly why, because a lot of these employees are not able to get political at this time. We are too close to midterms, and we can't be bringing out any big bombs, no dropping D classes and stuff like that. That stuff needed to be handled. Now, this is the second one here, osc.gov, and this is pretty handy right here. Who we are, the United States Office of Special Counsel, is an independent federal investigative and prosecutorial agency. Our basic authorities come from our 4 federal statutes: the Civil Service Reform Act, the Whistleblower Protection Act, the Hatch Act, and the Uniformed Services Employment and Reemployment Rights Act. Okay, but let me take you down here. This is actually kind of the handy part here. So it's basically talking about government employees and what they may and may not do under the Hatch Act. And you can see here it does. There's a may not section and a may section. May not be a candidate for a nomination or election to public office in a partisan election. May not use his or her official authority or influence to interfere with or affect the result of an election. And that's a key one right there. Okay. And then we've got the may list. I'll leave this for you here. Some of you were having problems getting these links. I'll try and I'll put them down below like I always do. And hopefully you'll have some better luck getting them off of here. But there were a lot of people that were saying that they couldn't get them here. But essentially, I think Q is just justifying what's going on, that we're really focused on this midterm election, one which we all know. And of course, while the mainstream media is trying to divide us, we already know how strong we are. We know how these rallies have been turning out buttloads of people, and our vote still does matter, okay? And although they're going to drop all these polls and everything like that, trying to discourage us from going, they're going to say that we're dropping in the polls and this and that. Look, polls are, it's like the whole Mark Twain thing. There are lies, there are damn lies, and there are statistics. So, you know, I don't trust any polls, even the ones that say things that I would love to hear. But let's take a look at some previous drops regarding polls. We'll just type polls in here and see what we come up with. Well, the most recent one was 2032 from back on August 31st, where Q says, do you believe actual polls were conducted? Well, no, of course not. Pre-election polls. HRC favored 90 to 98%. Yeah, we saw how that worked out, right?
Even if you don't like her, she's qualified.
Nope, you're just glib, Cocoa Puff. Q goes on to say, reconcile against results. Why is there emphasis put on polls? Define human nature. And it talks about the psychology of these polls. You know, how a lot of polls will get people to feel like they're kind of just going with the winning team because so many people back this, it must be right. And then, of course, you know, people like us who are their opponents, they will try to make us feel like we are already losing so horribly that we shouldn't even bother. We should just be apathetic and not show up. And this is perfectly kind of displayed here in this graphic where you see all these media outlets that support Clinton and nobody supports Trump. What about In Pursuit of Truth? You forgot my name. What's up with that? Well, anyway, you see what's up, right? We are not apathetic. We are showing up to the polls. Many of you have already voted. Thank you for doing that. And we'll see how it turns out. Let's move on to the next post, 2383. 1 minute after the hour of 8 p.m. Q takes us back to this post, 1751. They do not want you asking questions. They do not want you thinking for yourself. They do not want you united. They want you to live in fear, divided. That's what we've been talking about, right? Well, that's not going to happen. Now, Q adds on here with a quote, "We have to bypass the media in order to get straight to the people. We've gone around them like no one in history has gone around them." That was POTUS at tonight's rally. And let me go ahead and play that for you.
Because we really have to bypass the media because it's so one-sided and unfair in order to get straight to the American people. That's what we're doing. So that's what we're doing, and it seems to work out pretty well because here we are. Here we are, folks. But someday we're going to get a good story from these people, someday. And it's not all of them. Look, you have some of the fine people, some of really finest people I know. I know reporters, journalists, others, they're fine people, but some are not honest, and we have to just go around them. We just have to go around them, and we have gone around them like nobody in history has ever gone around them.
So there you have it, straight from the boss man. We've gone around them like no one in history has gone around them. Pretty incredible. You know, if I had told you even 5 years ago that the U.S. president would have to go around, circumvent the mainstream media, and use a forum such as 8chan in order to communicate with the average everyday patriot, would you have believed that? I'm not so sure that I would have. Q goes on to say, think MSM attacks regarding Q, we the people. We've seen this before. Q would call out sort of this incoming wave. Next thing you know, Washington Post, New York Times, everyone's writing their hit pieces and their op-eds, whether it's regarding Trump, Q followers, whatnot, but it always seems to come. Now, I'm not sure if Q's just simply reminding us about the whole history of this and how this really, we've been a little over a year now with QAnon. This whole forum was set up just so we could go around the MSM. And it wouldn't surprise me now that Q's back if the MSM fires another wave of attacks regarding Q, so I would sit tight for that. Q adds on in the next post, 2384. 48 minutes after the hour of 9 p.m. Adding this here, power shall be returned to the people, returning to you, the American people, POTUS. And this is POTUS's Twitter right here. Q says, coincidence? Let me take you over here to the Twitter of Donald J. Trump. Beautiful evening at a MAGA rally with great American patriots. Loyal citizens like you helped build this country, and together we are taking back this country. Returning power to you, the American people. Get out and vote GOP. And look at that. Returning power to you, the American people. Look at that picture right there. My goodness. Air Force One and a whole crew of MAGA folks right there. Wow. What a beautiful picture, actually. My goodness. Well, there you go. So really, really cool stuff. Another Q proof there. Returning power to you, the American people. POTUS. Coincidence? I think not. And that is displayed in this next post right here. 2385. 47 minutes after the hour of 11. We get this graphic here. And let me take you over here. There we go. So this is the tweet that we just saw, and the quote, returning power to you, the American people. Now, this Anon takes us back to November 1st of 2017, where it said, POTUS will be well insulated, protected on Air Force One and abroad, specific locations classified while these operations are conducted due to the nature of the entrenchment. It is time to take back our country and make America great again. Let us salute and pray for the brave men and women in uniform who will undertake this assignment to bring forth peace, unity, and return power to the people. So that was about a year ago, right? And this particular post was signed 4/10/20, which if you count up in the alphabet, that would be DJT.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. Now, here's the picture dated 1st of November. And there you see the connection, 1st of November there. So just another really cool Q proof. And I would like to actually show you some other posts that happened about a year ago. But let's look at this other picture here too. This is the other one. It says, do you believe in coincidences? Now, on the left here, we have this post from 1751. That's the one from July 29th. And at the end of that post, it said, power shall be returned to the people. And that's this red box right here. And we see it again in this tweet, returning power to the American people. So there's a connection here. And then we see that, of course, that this was posted 1st of November. Now up here, we see this from the 1st of November, also posted at 9:01, post number 375. And this was posted here at 10:23. Now at the bottom of post 1751, this second graphic here, we see this part, and it's enlarged here at the bottom. Number 375, power shall be returned to the to the people, returning power to you, the American people. So there you go. Very cool. One more quick thing I wanted to point out here. Like I said, this time a year ago was 9:01 and 23 seconds. If you added that 9 plus the 1, you have 10:23. And a year later, this post is at 10:23. Q says, mathematically impossible or every detail planned? I think we know. Today, 1 year ago, where we go one, we go all, Q. So those are your Q posts. Let's take a look at some of the ones from a year ago. We're back here a year ago on November 1st. We're going to check out a few of these. Now, some of these I'm going to skip. Keep in mind that I'm not skipping ones because I think that they're not important, but just ones that I think are immediately relevant and of interest. Q was pretty busy on this day. But let's take you to the very first one on November 1st, post 23. It was 11 minutes after the hour of midnight. Q said, note MI, I'm assuming to be military intelligence back at the time, has the same special access programs as NSA, CIA, etc. as designated post 9/11. Why is this relevant? Who can be held hostage and controlled? CIA thinks its foreign offshore assets are strong enough to defend against the U.S. executive, not accounting for military use on domestic soil. Why does the Constitution explicitly grant this authority to the president, and what is it to prevent? They knew our agencies would grow in power so much so that they could hold the executive hostage or engage with bad actors. Trump nominated someone new to direct every agency but one. He controls the top. So that was sort of the beginning, basically, of draining the swamp, right? Getting all these top level executives to either step down or not run for re-election. We get a little bit more insight in post 24, where Q says, any person making statements they will not be seeking re-election was put in submission. Okay, one in particular was Paul Ryan, right? For the betterment of the country, not all will be prosecuted and all will do as told. You will see more of this occur. Not normal yet, disregarded, and even on the D side. Then post 25. Q says, follow up to last post. Return to comments regarding Pelosi and John M. Some of us refuse to say his last name for a reason. And that was kind of the beginning of why he was called No Name. And of course, that's Senator John McCain. We just call him No Name. We don't say his name because they essentially don't have any respect for that name anymore. This all has meaning. Everything's stated. Big picture stuff. Few positions allow for this direct knowledge. Proof to begin 11:3. We all sincerely appreciate the work you do. Keep up the good fight. The flow of information is vital. God bless. And of course, things did start picking up the next day, but I thought this was interesting to show because this would be tomorrow if something is going to be happening tomorrow. Now, those of you who follow my channel know that I really hate predicting dates or anything like that. I think it's a fool's errand and it's a good way to get punked. And, oftentimes the plan kind of has to change because everyone is paying attention to these channels, right? And seeing what's going on and reading these cue boards and anticipating this. So sometimes disinformation has to go out, but there is another reference there, and this day is 11/3. So it could be that a year later could be some stuff dropping tomorrow. We shall see. Now, let me turn you on to this one here. 28. What must be complete to engage military intelligence over other three-letter agencies? During the 1950s and 60s, federal troops and federalized National Guard forces, accompanied by military intelligence personnel, were deployed to help integrate Southern schools. 23, and to help deal with civil disorders in Detroit, 1967, and other cities the following year after the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. 24, throughout this period, military intelligence units also continued to collect data on Americans at home who were suspected of involvement in subversive activities. 25, in the late 1960s, the Pentagon compiled personal information on more than 100,000 politically active Americans in an effort to quell civil rights and anti-Vietnam demonstrations and to discredit protesters. 26, the Army used 1,500 plainclothes agents to watch demonstrations, infiltrate organizations, and spread disinformation. And then we have this quote here. According to one report, the Army had at least one observer at every demonstration of more than 25 people. The Army's activities were summed up by Senator Sam Ervin. allegedly for the purpose of predicting and preventing civil disturbances, which might develop beyond the control of state and local officials. Army agents were sent throughout the country to keep surveillance over the way the civilian population expressed their sentiments about government policies. In churches, on campuses, in classrooms, in public meetings, they took notes, tape recorded, and photographed people who dissented in thought, word, and deed. This included clergymen, editors, public officials, and anyone who sympathized with the dissenters. And then we have this, ha ha ha, Trump had MI infiltrate Antifa and all the dissenting local governments. Always 5 steps ahead. Q says, well done. Picture being painted. Okay, so military intelligence has really been involved all the way through, right? Now, I really want to finish you with this here. This was, I believe, not the last post on November 1st, but this is post number 34. Q clearance Patriot. My fellow Americans, over the course of the next several days, you will undoubtedly realize that we are taking back our country, our great country, the land of the free, from the evil tyrants that wish to do us harm and destroy the last remaining refuge of shining light. On POTUS's order, we have initiated certain fail-safes that shall safeguard the public from the primary fallout which is slated to occur 11/3 upon the arrest announcement of Mr. Podesta, actionable 11/4. Confirmation to the public of what is occurring will then be revealed and will not be openly accepted. Public riots are being organized in serious numbers in an effort to prevent the arrest and capture of more senior public officials. On POTUS's order, a state of temporary military control will be actioned and special ops carried out. False leaks have been made to retain several within the confines of the United States to prevent extradition and special operator necessity. Rest assured, the safety and well-being of every man, woman, and child of this country is being exhausted in full. However, the atmosphere within the country will unfortunately be divided as so many have fallen for the corrupt and evil narrative that has long been broadcast. We will be initiating the emergency broadcast system during this time in an effort to provide a direct message, avoiding the fake news to all citizens. Organizations and or people that wish to do us harm during this time will be met with swift fury. Certain laws have been pre-lifted to provide our great military the necessity authority to handle and conduct these operations at home and abroad. Okay, well, we didn't really see this go down last year, right? Could it be that this was foreshadowing all along on 11/3, going after Mr. Podesta on the 4th? It remains to be seen. And like I just said, I'm not big on predicting dates, but this is how this was laid out. And we didn't see it quite go down. Now, we've already had a test of the emergency broadcast system. So we do know that a lot of you guys got the message. Some of you did not, but it looks like the majority of people did get the message. So we will see over the next couple days what happens, but pretty exciting stuff. That's all I got for you today. Q is back. I have a feeling Q will probably be posting fairly sporadically. I don't imagine Q dropping a bunch of intel. We talked about the Hatch Act, so we know why. But I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little basic communication over the next few days as we walk into the midterms. And speaking of midterms, if you have not gotten out there and gotten your vote heard, please go do that. All right, that's all I got for you today. As always, if you like this video, please click like, share, and subscribe. For those of you who've been sharing my videos, thank you so much. I really appreciate the help. It really, really helps me out. If you're new to my channel, please understand that from time to time, you will be unclicked and unsubscribed and all that stuff because these platforms don't want you and I to be together. But we've got a special, groovy kind of love that they will never be able to keep us apart. Yeah. All right. My name is Sir Patrick Mac. All my links are down below. My Gab, my BitChute, Brighteon.com, my email, my Patreon link is down there if you would like to support the channel. And you can find me over at Twitter at IPOT1776. That's at IPOT1776, where I spend a lot of my time engaging with a lot of you. All right, that is it for today. And until next time, stay safe.